Welcome back to Kansas City. Today we're going to talk about something that's probably affecting you on your renewal dates on your book of business as we're moving through time. Now, what is the big shift in our market right now? What is the big thing that's affecting those aggressive carriers and those renewals that are coming out much higher than a lot of brokers expect? Folks, I'm here to tell you it's actually not the plan, it's the underwriting model that has driven a lot of this volatility. In the past 3 to 5 years, we've seen a big time shift in a segment of the market, not the entire market, but a segment of the market adopting AI underwriting in the sub 30 space. And look, I'm not an anti-technology guy. We have invested a lot of money into our underwriting systems, but under that 30 life or so count, these systems have not proven to be as accurate, anywhere near as accurate as the IHQ model. And this is one of the primary factors. We're going to cover a couple more of these as well, but this is one of the factors that's driving these big time rate increases for you, for your Main Street employers with that 5, 10, 20 enrolled employee group. Now, what is the big difference here? Well, the first one we're going to cover is what you brokers are seeing. You guys are seeing renewals that are coming in on healthier groups, on groups with lower claims experience that are frankly very difficult to renew. Now, this is doubly hard for you as the broker because inside of our industry, it's actually much easier to keep a piece of business than it is to go get a new one. Now, with that in mind, whenever those retained groups are now under threat because the renewals are so large, it's putting pressure on your day-to-day life because your lifestyle is now established at your baseline. So new business is great, but if you're losing current business, that hurts doubly so. We have unexpected large renewals. We have a shock for your employers when you're sitting down saying, I've got a large increase. I've seen them as high as 300%. We have groups that are jumping carriers repeatedly, not allowing the business to mature with a single carrier or getting a better long-term trend. And most of this has to do with the upfront process. Most of this has to do with a gate that has been too wide open for the new groups coming on. Now that is going away, or at least in my opinion, is going away fairly quickly because the AI models have lost so much money over the last half a decade or so. I don't know the exact number, but it would make most people blush. It is hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, in my opinion, that have been lost through mispricing of the initial plan year. Now, why does that matter to you as the broker? Well, when you have a mispriced plan year up front, what ends up happening is that you have big renewals in year 2, year 3, and you have more churn inside of your business. Additionally, this hurts your reputation on your local level. Whenever you have a massive renewal, people talk about it. When you have a really small renewal, people don't talk about it. So whenever you have a small business in a tight community who gets a 70% renewal that you are not coaching them on whatsoever, realize they're telling their buddies about it, and your brand from those conversations is now a little bit tarnished. So with that, you have all of these movings against the AI model, but the primary driver is the loss ratio. Now, I don't know what the exact loss ratios are, and anybody who tells you a very hard number for the entire AI book, well, frankly, I'd be surprised if they got everybody's data. But with that, we're hearing results that are very, very high, from the 150s to the 200s. Now, what does that mean to you as the broker? It means that every piece of business that MGU placed is running at twice the cost that they said it would. That is a recipe for disaster, and insurance companies are not great at everything, but they're really good at one thing, which is not losing money. So because of that, they're taking drastic action to close these doors. Now, why did this happen? Well, the biggest thing that happened here is that somebody said, we can go ahead and do the underwriting process without crossing the T's and dotting the I's, let alone the J's, right? So with that, you've got this fundamental problem, which is you've got more volatility because the gatekeeping was done very poorly, the foxes are in the hen houses, and the loss ratios have been steep, to say the least. Now, what good brokers do is they say, all right, I find myself in a tough situation. And you always have two options. Do I continue to do what I have been doing, or do I look for a solution that works longer term? Now, great brokers, in my opinion, never left the long-term solution because they realize that if I work really hard today, I have a better life later. So the question is, when do you want to be mature? When do you want to be busy? I'd rather be busy right now and have a little bit better life long term. That is a return or a continuation of the traditional underwriting model. Now, a lot of brokers hear this and they're not going to like it. But if you do not do the extra work that is required for a level funded plan, realize your client is less well off than they otherwise would have been. Now, this is shown in a couple of places. Fully AI underwritten plans generally have very low surplus, which means you as the broker have very low opportunities for you to get referrals. And whenever that surplus is low, they have more volatility because there's no money built up year over year to pay for those additional costs. Number two, you as the broker do not have the ability or as much of ability to place ancillary lines because that money is already chewed up trying to cover the hole or the lack of detail on the underwriting model by using surplus mechanics that take from the group and give to the carrier or the TPA or something along those lines. So there are two big expenses to you that you have, which is A, I lose a bit of my future because I'm inducing more renewal volatility. And two, I also lose my ability to place ancillary lines and serve that client more deeply, which fundamentally hurts you on a third part, which is if you have more and more lines, even if they do leave you on part, you keep the other side. So you stay at the table, so to speak. Now, whenever you're looking at new cases or you're looking at a really bad renewal, realize if you go the easy route, or if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll get the results you've always gotten. I'm here telling you that if you want a more mature, more stable book, then you need to go to the way that gives you the best accurate and most accurate, best information, and that is the traditional underwriting model. So when you're looking at not just ATA, but other carriers, look at what is the surplus mechanic? How much money of my clients do they get to keep and how much is taken by somebody else? Number two, how much money is actually in the claims account? And number three, how am I able to build a long-term plan without those two things staying with my client? The more you answer that question up front, the better your life is long-term. I'm Tom Stein with American Trust Administrators. If you're here fighting for the future of Main Street in a long-term way, we're here to fight with you by your side. So go out, work for your client, build a better plan, and have a little bit better future. All right, we'll see you.